Let's see if I can teach you a fast lesson. This is a method that I use. It's a principle. It's a photo theta principle. Can we see? Yes. Existential reference. Okay? So, existential means existing, in existence, something we can see existing. Reference means what something refers to. Now, what this is for is analyzing concepts or ideas, okay? Now, you have a lot of ideas that you have not analyzed. Let me break it down. I am an individual. That is an idea. That is a specific idea that has a history. We did not always call ourselves individual. I have a self. That is an idea. So let's start writing down the ideas we have. We have, I am in a country, right? I am a race. I am a self. Okay, and then what else? We live in an economy. We have psychology. Okay, there's an idea called magic. There's an idea called God. Now, I developed this principle actually from the philosopher Ayn Rand, who is a capitalist, who I do not agree with, but I read everything by her when I was 16 to 20. I read everything by Ayn Rand. I even went to a conference. Okay, all these ideas here, right? They are called floating abstractions, okay? So stay with me. I'm telling you about existential reference and floating abstractions because the one cancels out the other. Existential reference means when you have a concept, you ask yourself, what does it refer to that I can point at and look at? Kind of like empirical verification in science, okay? So when I have this concept country, what can I point to? Well, okay, here, I'm in the country. Okay, so then what's the difference between being in a room and in a country? Well, you say a country's bigger. Oh, okay, all of America's a country, but then people who support the country of America don't support all the Americans, and a lot of times they hate most of the Americans. And then what does it mean to say America is a place? Well, if you look at it physically with your eyes, you're not going to see country, country, country. You're going to see human beings that are guarding territory that say, don't come here, go here. So that's what you see. That's what I mean, existential reference. So what this refers to is a floating abstraction, is imagination, okay? So let me see if I have enough room. So all of these guys, let's see if we got this term here. Floating abstraction, okay guys? So Ayn Rand had this term. And the trick is that most of her ideas were floating abstractions, okay? What I'm saying is that if an idea doesn't refer to something in existence, it is not an idea about reality, and it's imagination, like a fantasy novel, okay? So, the idea of country is a floating abstraction. What it refers to are people in a group. What all these ideas refer to are our communities and who we identify with. So you never verify the existence of a country. You never identify the existential reference of a country. You just trust it because other people trust it. So this is an imagination about your community, about your group, who you identify with. There's no physical country, you get me? Race we know is bullshit, right? But we still define ourselves by race. The government still defines us by race. Well, the idea of race doesn't actually refer to anything because you will say, well, white people are one way. My race is white, so because I'm white, I do this, except for the fact that there's never been harmony in the white community, and there's always been people who are called race traders. So really, this idea of race is saying you act a certain way because you're white, but if you don't act white, then you're not really white, okay? This is like they do with men. So there's nothing being said here. This is an imagination for your group, right? A lot of the Aryans on my Instagram hate me and say that I'm trying to be down with minorities and stuff like this because they are thinking that I have to be the same as them, and if I'm not the same as them, I must be defective. Well, that's either white people do white shit or we don't. So, you know what I mean? Either we're all the same or we're not. So this is a floating abstraction. So when somebody says, hey, I'm the white race, well, you look at the existential reference. How many white people do they know? And are we still going by the one drop rule? Is somebody who's 72% African but the rest white, are they white, right? We don't know. Self, right? I have a self. Where? Point to yourself. Okay, that's my head. So my head is myself. If I decapitate my head, is that still myself? No, my heart. Well, what if you replace your heart? Are you still yourself? See, there is no self, right? We are born, we come out of women's bodies. We're made inside of women's bodies. And the first thing we do when we get out of a woman's body is we try to get back to the woman for comfort and for milk, right? For food. So there's no such thing as separate selves and individual. Everything you hear me say, a million people have said it. Anytime you go on my Instagram comments, you can find Aryans all saying the exact same things. We are not selves, homie. We are communities. We're more like ants than anything, really. Economy is another floating abstraction. Look, this is my principle. I'm going to show it to you more. Existential reference. If you're arguing about ideas with somebody, if you're arguing with ideas about somebody, if you're arguing with somebody about ideas, look at what those ideas refer to, okay? The hard truth that we might have to face when we do this is that a lot of our ideas don't refer to anything, and they're actually just agreements about who we are down with and who we're not. I don't know if that's gonna make sense. Nobody's gonna teach you this, and not many people teach this. This is the Poet of Theater's own methodology. The principle of existential reference can cut through so much bourgeois bullshit. I don't know. Let's see if you can understand. Comment down below. I'm going to put this on YouTube. We'll see. Existential Reference by Poet of Theater.